Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam, ma'am.
Glad to see you, but where are others groupmates? Gm17. So
Yes,
will
ma'am.
you find out will they join or not? So please tell them that we are starting our class. Okay, I'm giving you a couple of minutes and then we'll start. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, let's start our class. So your home task was lymphatic and venous drainage with upper limb, right? Oh, also arterial arteries of the upper limb. Okay. So your home task was the upper limb, right? From the arteries till the lymph drainage, right? Gm17. Do you hear me? Okay, let's start. Zahur, will you start? Zahur.
Yes, ma'am.
So will you start with
Yes.
explaining of the arteries of the upper limb?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, upper limb extremity or the forearm of upright and posterior tetrapod vertebra extended from the scapula and clavicles down to and including the digits, including all the musculatures and ligament involved with the shoulder, elbow, wrist, and knuckle joint. Ma'am, location in upper limb.
Go on.
Ma'am, upper limb is divided into three regions. They consist of arm located between the shoulder and elbow, joint and the forearm, which is between the elbow and wrist, joint and hand, which is located distal to the wrist.
Sahur, your task was arterial blood supply of the upper limb. So let's talk about the vessels of the upper limb.
When blood supply of upper limb.
Yes, yes.
Name the subclavian artery, axillary and brachial artery, or continue with the.
So let's start from the subclavian artery. So where from it originate, what parts it has, what branches arise from the subclavian artery.
Name subclavian artery lie just below the clavicle, providing blood and supply to the bilateral upper and extremity with the construction to the hand and neck.
So where from it arise?
Yes, ma'am.
Where from it arise?
Ma'am, ma'am, it's arise from the construction of neck and hand.
So Zahur, when you will start reading?
Yes, ma'am.
Reading the books, preparing to classes, when? When are you going to start reading the books? learning the subject. When?
Yes, ma'am.
Roman?
Yes, ma'am.
So will you explain us about the subclavian artery?
Subclavian arteries have two branches. One is a suprascapular arteries is distributed to the supraspinous and infrafossa of a scapula, and the superficial clavicle artery give off deep branch that run down the medial border of scapula.
Mhm. So where from arises this subclavian artery?
Subclavian artery is located in the root of neck, continue as the axillary artery which supplies the upper lip.
Where its origin?
Axillary artery begins at the lateral border of first rib at the end of the lower border of their major muscle, where it continues as a brachial artery. Throughout, it works as a artery.
Roman, I was asking about the subclavian artery. Subclavian artery, where from it arises?
Subclavian. Um,
Barira?
Yes, ma'am.
So will you help, Roman?
Ma'am, subclavian arteries arise from brachiocephalic trunk from right side, and on the left it branch directly from the arch of aorta.
Okay.
And it can be divided into
So how it
three parts.
runs?
First part, origin of this subclavian artery to the medial border of anterior scalene. Second part, posterior to the anterior scalene, and third part, lateral border of anterior scalene to the lateral border of first rib. At the lateral border of first rib, the subclavian artery enters the axilla, and it is named as axillary artery. Then axillary artery is deep into the pectoralis minor and is enclosed in axillary shield. And
Abdul Razak? Abdul Razak, will you continue?
Yes, ma'am.
Switch on your camera. So what branches arise from the first part? Of
Which, ma'am?
subclavian artery.
Ma'am.
What branches arise from the first part of subclavian artery?
Okay, ma'am.
Don't switch off your camera.
Yes, ma'am.
What yes? You are telling me yes and do not turn on your camera. Kiran, will you help us?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, first part from its origin to the medial border of scalenus anterior and second part behind the muscles.
I'm asking about the branches from the first part of subclavian artery.
Multiple artery, internal thoracic artery. This
Iran,
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, it is found behind the clavicle. That is why it is called subclavicle artery. It runs upward on the left.
Iran, I was
Left.
asking about the branches which rise from the first part of subclavian artery.
Ma'am, should I?
I wrote in the chat,
Ma'am,
so read the chat.
Ma'am, should I?
multiple artery, internal thoracic artery.
Ma'am, should I?
Okay, Roman.
Ma'am, suprascapular artery and superficial clavicle artery.
Roman, I was
Ma'am,
asking about the first, the branches which rise from the first part of subclavian artery. Subclavian artery.
Ma'am, vertebral artery, internal thoracic artery, thyrocervical trunk.
So I
First to
understand that
cervical.
nobody was reading, right? Nobody was preparing for the class. Why you not preparing for class? You don't know that we have anatomy class today?
Ma'am,
What's the problem?
I prepare.
Who prepared?
Ma'am, I prepare.
Kiran, you are not prepared. Barira, yes, only Barira prepared. But what about others? So you see, Roman, Kiran, Zahur, Abdul Razak. I don't know what about about Nimra. I didn't ask. So all of you are not ready. So what's the problem? Nimra, maybe you know? So Nimra is not responding. I think that she's absent. Nimra, are you present?
Yes, ma'am.
So switch on your video. The same question. Nimra, the
Yes,
same
ma'am.
question.
I don't.
So I think that you are not ready also. Okay. Abdul Razak, it's very easy to sit, to switch off your camera and to open the book and read. But in front of me, you are not answering. When I was asking you, when you switch on your camera,
No, ma'am, I am not reading from book.
you are not ready for the class.
Okay.
What does it mean, okay? When I asked you questions, you didn't answer. So what shall we do if you are not ready? Gm17. You are not preparing for classes. You see, yes, only Barira is preparing for classes. So she was ready for the previous class. Today she is ready, but what about others? How are you going to pass the first module? I don't think that you will have admission to pass it, or you will be able to pass it, because you have to get 50 points. So this is the maximum for first module. So maximum of MCQs, you will get 20 points and 30 points from your activity in our classes. But how are you going to get these 30 points? I think some of the students will not get any, even 5 points. Because you are systematically not ready for the classes. You think that you don't need anatomy? But all clinical subjects are based on the anatomy. What shall you do if you don't know the systems, if you don't know the organs, you don't know the parts of the organs, how they comprises, how their sizes of the organ, where they are located, so the functions. So how are you going to be a doctor? I don't know. How are you going to study the clinical subjects? And you know, every class is the same. Every class, I'm telling you that you are not ready, that you have to prepare, you have to read books, and you are telling me next class we'll prepare, we will be the best. But what's the problem right now? I do not see the progress. Everything is the same. So you see that you didn't prepare the arterial blood supply. Maybe you read about the venous drainage or lymphatic drainage. So will you tell me who prepared the venous drainage or lymphatic drainage? So let's talk about it. Of course, I'm not going to explain you all these topics, because you had lectures where the lecturer explained you about the branches of the subclavian artery, about the parts of the subclavian artery, and your lecturer told you about this vertebral internal thoracic artery and others. So you have to know from the lecture that vertebral arteries, how it arrives, which branches it has, so where it's terminates. So the same with the internal thoracic artery, so how it descends in the thorax, what branches it has, what it supplies. So thyrocervical trunk. So these are 3 branches of the subclavian artery from the first part of subclavian artery. From the second part, we have a costocervical branch, costocervical trunk, which is divided into 2 branches. So you all this already knew, not you have already passed it with the covered this with your lecture, Tarabas. And for example, if you were prepared for class and you have some questions, so we could discuss it. But how can you have a questions if you didn't know, if you do not know the subject? So will you tell me about the venous drainage? About arterial supply, you have to know. I hope that you will revise it. So about the arterial supply, you have to know which arteries supply the upper limb. So, for example, we started from subclavian artery, then axillary artery. You have to know that axillary artery is divided into 3 parts also, and from all these 3 parts, we have different amount of branches. So you have to know these branches, what area they supply. Then axillary artery continues as a brachial artery, so you have to know the branches of the brachial artery. After brachial artery, so it will terminate into branches, into arteries, radial and ulna. So you have to know where they're located and the branches which rise from these arteries and how they terminate. So you have to know about the superficial and deep palmar arches. So which of these arteries form which palmar arch? So superficial or, and also you have to know from these arches which branches arise, so what they supply. For example, if you will take the hand, so what part of the hand is supplied what arteries. So you have to know about the dorsum of the hand. That, for example, in the palmar we have 2 arches. So in the dorsum we also have a dorsal arch, arterial arch. So these all points you have to know because you will have questions on MCQs on module, on the first module. And I don't know even how you will prepare for the next class, because for the next class you have to prepare a huge topic about abdominal and thoracic aorta, the branches, venous and lymphatic drainage of the abdomen and aorta. So what shall we do? Okay, so I understand that arterial blood supply you don't know. So let's talk about the venous blood supply. Barira? I think you will be the only speaker for today. So prepare. Venous drainage of upper limb. Venous drainage.
Venous drainage, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, venous drainage of upper limbs drains deoxygenated blood from the arm, forearm, and hand. And it can be subdivided into superficial system and deep system. Superficial vein, the major superficial vein of upper limbs are cephalic and basilic veins.
Where from they rise?
Ma'am, basilic vein originates from the dorsal venous network of the hand and extend to the medial steps of upper limb. And cephalic vein arise from the dorsal venous network. And it extends to the anterolateral aspect of upper limb. And ma'am, basilic vein has border of teres major, vein moxus deep, and the into the arm. and brachial veins from deep venous system to form axillary veins. And cephalic vein, ma'am, cephalic vein at the shoulder, cephalic vein travels between the deltoid and pectoralis vein. And ma'am, the cephalic and basilic veins are connected at the elbow by medial cubital vein.
So you see that basilic vein joins, so basilic vein joins the brachial vein, right? And they form axillary vein, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So if we'll talk about the cephalic vein, you will see that it will rise, it will run in the arm, in the lateral border of the biceps
Okay, ma'am.
muscle. Yes, so
Yes,
it will
ma'am.
go to the delta pectoral groove, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And then it will first the clavicopectoral fascia and will go deeper and it will join axillary vein. So then they form the subclavian, right? Okay, so between these two veins, we have a connection by the medial cubital vein. Mhm.
Which one, ma'am?
Medial cubital vein, medial cubital vein.
Which connects on these two veins?
Cephalic and basilic vein, you
Yes, ma'am, I know.
started explain it. Cephalic and basilic vein connected by the median cubital vein.
Yes, ma'am, yes.
Mhm.
I have to tell about
What
medial
about the
cubital.
median vein of forearm, Barira? Median vein of forearm, what about it?
Median vein of forearm, ma'am, it's major. Median vein of forearm is
Oh, it's called median antebrachial vein.
ma'am, it's median antebrachial vein.
Yes. So what do you know about it? From which part it originates?
Ma'am, it drains the superficial structure of forearm and wrist between basilic and cephalic veins.
Where from its origin?
Ma'am, it originates from ma'am,
So you see, Barira, we have so these veins, I would say. So you see, we have arterial arches, right? Deep and superficial arterial arches on the palm. So the same, we have arches, venous arches in the palm. So from this from the superficial venous network originates the median vein of forearm. So it arises in the forearm and then drain into the cephalic or basilic vein. So is it clear?
yes, ma'am.
Also, it can be divided into two, so it can split into two branches into median cephalic and median basilic branches, which then will drain into the cephalic and basilic vein. So this is what about median vein of forearm. So you explained us about superficial venous network, right? So Zahur, Zahur,
Yes, ma'am.
so will you tell us about the deep veins? What is it?
And what?
Deep veins of forearm. Deep veins of upper limb. Deep veins of upper limb. So you didn't read about the deep veins, right? Abdul Razak?
Ma'am, I'm right, different of upper limb, ma'am.
What?
I'm different of upper limb.
So will you tell us about the deep veins of the upper limb?
Okay, ma'am.
Zahur. Abdul Razak. Abdul Razak.
Ma'am, different of upper limb, ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
When bone pelvic girdle and 3 bones upper extremity articulation with the axial skeleton and open at the formal uses the term arm only refer to the structure from the shoulder to the elbow and including the forearm and those upper limb and arm or not. However, in uses the term and often used interchangeably. Each limb has single bone in upper extremity
I
of
didn't
limb.
understand what. Zahur, I don't understand. What are you explaining us? What are you explaining us? I didn't understand. Will you explain it? I was asking about the deep veins of upper limb. Because superficial veins, Barira has already explained us. Roman?
And the upper limb and lower limb.
Yes, ma'am.
So what about the deep veins of the upper limb?
In upper extremity, the deep vein include the pair of radial vein and pair with the lunar vein. and that pair with the brachyle vein, axillary vein, and subclavian vein. The
Mhm.
most common site of UEDVT involve the axillary and subclavian vein. However, the most distal brachyle may be involved.
So you see, the deep veins, so they accompany the arteries. And they drain deep structures of the upper limb. So that is why they are called deep veins. And you have to know that they are paired. So that is why each artery is accompanied by the pair of veins. Okay, so this is what about the venous drainage. Let's talk about lymphatic drainage. So, Roman, will you tell us about the lymphatic drainage of the upper limb? Switch on your camera.
Again, ma'am?
Camera, switch on your camera.
Yes, ma'am.
And lymphatic drainage of the upper limb.
The deep lymphatic vessel of upper limb function of drain tissue fluid, plasma, protein, and other cellular debris back into the bloodstream and involve into the immune defense. And the lympha vessel is a upper limb ultimately drain into the extreme network of axillary lymph node. Axillary lymph nodes. The axillary lymph nodes collect 20 to 30 in number, collected lymph from a large.
Stop. I'm not asking about the axillary lymph nodes. So let's talk about the lymphatics of the upper limb. So you see,
function to drain tissue fluid, plasma, protein, and other cellular debris into the back bloodstream, and also involve in immune defense. Once the collective of substance enter the lymphatic vessel is known as lympha.
So tell me, what comprises the lymphatic drainage in upper limb?
What comprises?
Yes, the lymphatic system of the upper limb.
Also, ma'am, the deep lymphatic vessel of upper limb follow me.
So
Axillary.
Roman, listen to me, Roman.
Yes, ma'am.
So first of all, you had to read this before classes, not during classes trying to find the answer on this question.
Ma'am, after class I will send you pages that I have learned before the classes.
So you see, the lymphatic vessels, they accompany the veins. So when we discussed the veins, we said that we have two systems, superficial venous system, right, and deep venous. So if the lymphatic vessels, they accompany their veins, so we have the same here. So the lymphatic vessels, they are can be superficial and deep. So you are telling us, okay, about the deep lymphatic vessels. So deep lymphatics, they drain the deep structures of the upper limb, and they accompany the deep veins. Yes, so the lymph drains into the axillary lymph nodes. Okay, so I agree with you. If we are talking about the deep lymphatics, okay. So what about superficial lymphatics?
Superficial.
Mhm. So we hear very good.
Superficial and deep lymph deep lymph vessel, the superficial lymph vessel drain the superficial tissue of the upper limb, pass upward the axillary, the lymph vessel of figure pass along the border of reach the web. From there, the vessels ascend onto the dorsum of the hand. Lymph vessel on the plum form a plexus that drain by the vessels that assist in the front of a forearm or pass around the medial and lateral border to join vessel on the dorsum of hand. Lymph vessels form the thumb and the lateral finger and the lateral area of the hand, forearm, and the fore. Follow the cephalic vein to the infraclavicular group of nodes. The superficial vessel of form middle finger. Uh, uh,
Roman, it's not interesting to listen to you while you are reading. It's not interesting. Is it clear?
Ma'am, again?
Roman, everybody can read if it will be allowed, right? I am asking only to show your knowledge. So what have you read? What have you known? What have you discovered from the lectures, for example? But I am asking you question, and you are typing there in computer or something where something else, I don't know, and you are trying to find the answer. So I'm telling you that it is not interesting. That is why. So Barira, I'm telling, I told you that you are our speaker. I think that
Yes, ma'am.
you will explain us about the lymphatics of the upper limb.
Non-lymphatic vessels of upper limb are again are two divisions: superficial lymphatic vessels and deep lymphatic vessels. Superficial lymphatic vessels are initially arise from lymphatic plexus of the skin, and these are then travels up to the arm, and these are then again divided into basilic vein and cephalic vein. And the basilic vein go and enter to the cubical lymph nodes, and the cephalic veins cross the proximal part of the arm and the shoulder. And thus, after these structures, we have deep lymphatic
So
vessels.
Barira, let's find out. So we discussed the deep lymphatics, right? So they will drain into their axillary lymph nodes. What about the superficial lymphatics? So how they will, where to they will drain? So let's see. We have from the lateral side, right? The lymphatics, superficial lymphatic vessels, and from the medial side. So they have different route. So that is why. Will you explain us?
Ma'am, basilic vein, they are found medially to the vein.
Basilic vein?
Ma'am, in
We
superficial
are talking
lymphatic-
about the lymphatic vessels. Lymphatic vessels, for example, which accompany the basilic vein. So they run in medial aspect of the forearm, arm, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So you see, from the medial side of the hand, of the forearm, so the lymphatic will drain into the supratrochlear lymph nodes. Supratrochlear, or we can call them superficial cubital lymph nodes, which are located at the above the medial epicondyle. So is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
So you see the lymph from the hand, from the medial aspect of the hand of the forearm, it will drain into the superficial cubital lymph nodes. Then from the superficial cubital lymph nodes, or it's called supratrochlear lymph nodes, the lymph will drain into the axillary lymph nodes. Okay, is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
So let's talk about the lateral side of the upper limb. So from the lateral hand, forearm, and arm, the lymph will drain into infraclavicular lymph nodes. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So it will drain to the infraclavicular lymph nodes. Okay. So let's talk about the axillary lymph nodes. So auxiliary lymph nodes, they are divided into 5 groups lymph nodes, right? So will you tell us about these groups? Axillary lymph nodes. Have you read it, Marira? No?
Ma'am, I read lymphatic system, but I'm confused.
Okay. So you see, in the axilla, we have 5 groups of the axillary lymph nodes. So we have anterior, posterior, and lateral group of lymph nodes. Also, we have a central and apical group lymph nodes. So you see, on axilla, we have walls of the axilla. So we have a posterior, anterior, and lateral wall of the axilla. So on these walls, located the lymph nodes, the group of lymph nodes.
Yes,
So you
ma'am.
see,
I
what?
read these lymph nodes, but I was confused that what are you?
Okay.
Okay.
Okay,
There
go
are
on.
5 lymph nodes: anterior lymph node, posterior lymph node, lateral lymph node, central, and apical. Anterior lymph node is 3 to 5 nodes located at the medial wall of axilla. And posterior has 6 to 7 nodes and located at the posterior axillary fold. And lateral has 4 to 6 nodes and located in the lateral wall of axilla. And central have 3 to 4 large nodes and located near the base of axilla. And apical located in the apex of axilla, closer to the axillary vein and the first part of axillary artery.
So you see, the anterior lymph nodes, they drain the major part of the breast and the anterior wall of the trunk. So from the thorax and from the chest and from the abdominal wall till the umbilicus. So this lymph will drain into the anterior group of axillary lymph nodes. Posterior group of lymph nodes, they will receive
And they will receive from posterior thoracic wall
from
and
the back.
scapular region.
Yes, okay, so they receive from the back, from the till the iliac crest. So if we have a look at the lateral, or it's called humerus lymph nodes, they receive a lymph from the most of the part of the upper limb, right?
Yes, ma'am.
You remember that the deep lymphatics and the medial side of the upper limb. So they will drain into the lateral group of the axillary lymph nodes. And we said that the lateral side of the upper limb drain the lymph into infraclavicular lymph node. So infraclavicular lymph node will drain into apical lymph group. So you see, we discussed the 3 group lymph nodes, then we have a central. So central group of lymph nodes receive the lymph from these three groups, from the lateral, anterior, and posterior. So is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
And apical group lymph nodes, they will receive the lymph from the central and from the others axillary lymph nodes. So it will receive lymph from the central and from the infraclavicular lymph nodes. So is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Is it clear?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so this is what about the lymph. So we didn't say that after apical group, so the apical lymph, apical nodes drain into the subclavian lymph trunk. So then subclavian lymph trunk will drain into the thoracic duct on the left side, and on the right, it drain into the right lymph trunk. Trunk. So we see, and after that, it will drain into the venous system. So this is what about the lymphatics of the upper limb.
Yes, ma'am.
So your home task. I will write you here. So make a screenshot. I don't know. So remember it. I will write you. So thoracic and abdominal. Hello? Oh. Возьми на дорогу, да. Ты сделал уроки? Ты же вообще ничего не делал, да? Ну, историю выучил, да? Ага, молодец. Этот Хусейн с тобой идет? Он оделся? Да, давай его собирай тоже, давай. Уходите, давай. Пусть этот, он тоже возьмет это, деньги на дорогу, да? Чего нету? Денег? Там сколько сумм? 170, там 20, 50 и 100? Ну, надо было большую деньгу разменять. Надо тогда пойти в магазин и разменять деньги, понял? Да, 50 сом разменяй, чтобы Хусейну и тебе было, ладно? Давай, давай, все, у меня урок идет. And venous and lymphatic. Drainage of the drainage of the thorax and abdomen. So you see, this is your home task. It's a very big topic. That is why I'm asking you to be more serious, to be more responsible, and to prepare all these topics. Of course, it's very important. Okay, you will have a lot of questions in MCQs. You will have a lot of MCQs on this topic. Thoracic and abdominal aorta. Okay. So pay attention to this